The night was still when the blue and red lights flashed behind Marcus's car. He had done nothing wrong, but the officer stormed out, eyes sharp with arrogance. He slammed his hand against the hood and barked, "You people don't belong here. Get out before I make you regret it." Marcus stood calm, his tailored suit pressed, his silence cutting deeper than words. The officer, Daniels, laughed, mistaking his calm for fear, and swaggered back to his cruiser, convinced he had put another black man in his place. The next morning, inside the precinct, officers gathered nervously. Their old captain had retired, and the department was about to meet its new chief. Daniels leaned against the wall, arms crossed, his trademark smirk plastered across his face. He was already planning to test the newcomer's authority, to make sure this so-called chief knew who really ran things on the ground. But when the doors opened, Daniels' smirk vanished. In walked Marcus, dignified, commanding, every eye in the room fixed on him. His deep brown skin glowed under the harsh fluorescent lights, his polished shoes striking the floor with authority. He held his cap under his arm, standing tall, radiating quiet power. The arrogant officer's face turned pale, his arrogance collapsing into fear as the weight of his mistake sank in. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He simply scanned the room, his intelligent eyes landing squarely on the man who had humiliated him hours earlier. "Respect," he said calmly, "isn't optional in this precinct. If you can't give it, you don't belong here." The room went silent. The balance of power had shifted. The man once underestimated now stood as the highest authority in the building, and the officer who thought he could bully him learned the cruel twist of fate, that the person you try to break today may be the one holding your career in their hands tomorrow. The precinct buzzed with whispers after Marcus's introduction. Some officers nodded respectfully. Others shifted uncomfortably, but none as much as Officer Daniels. His smug grin was gone, replaced with unease. He had no idea the man he had mocked was now his boss. Marcus didn't need to call him out directly, not yet. Instead, he carried himself with calm authority, moving through the ranks, learning names, shaking hands. Every gesture spoke volumes. This was not a man to be underestimated. But Daniels couldn't shake the weight of his own arrogance. Sweat formed at his temple as Marcus's eyes landed on him. It wasn't anger in that stare. It was something colder, something that promised accountability. Later that day, Marcus called a meeting in the briefing room. The air was thick with tension as he laid out his expectations. This department will not tolerate discrimination, not in the streets, not in this building. Respect is a foundation of justice. If you cannot live by that, you will not wear this badge. His voice was calm, but the weight behind his words was undeniable. Daniel shifted uncomfortably in his chair. He thought back to the night before, his arrogance, his sneer, his words. "You people don't belong here." He realized now how dangerously wrong he had been. But Marcus wasn't done. He announced new policies, stricter accountability, body cam reviews, and community oversight. It was clear the old days of unchecked power were over. And as Marcus spoke, Daniels finally understood the tables had turned. The man he tried to silence was now the voice of justice, and Daniels' future in that precinct hung by a thread. Days passed, but Officer Daniels couldn't shake the dread in his chest. He avoided Marcus's gaze, yet the guilt gnawed at him. Then it happened. During a routine patrol, Marcus ordered all officers to review dashcam and bodycam footage. Transparency was his new policy. Daniels froze when his clip appeared on the screen. There it was in front of the entire department. Him slamming his hand on Marcus's car, sneering, "You people don't belong here." His voice dripped with venom, his arrogance caught in cold, undeniable evidence. Gasps filled the room. Daniels' face drained of color, his career unraveling before his eyes. Marcus stood tall, silent at first. Then he spoke, his tone calm, cutting like steel. "The man you disrespected that night is the same man standing before you now. But this isn't about me. It's about every person you swore to protect, every life you devalued with your prejudice." Daniels opened his mouth to speak, but Marcus raised a hand. "You had a choice, to honor the badge or to disgrace it, and you chose wrong. Effective immediately. You're suspended pending review." The room went silent. Officers exchanged looks, Some shocked, others relieved. Daniel sat in stunned silence, the weight of justice crushing the arrogance he once wore like armor. He had tried to strip another man of dignity, but instead lost his own. Marcus didn't smile, didn't gloat. He simply turned to the room and said, "Justice begins at home. If we cannot respect each other, how can we respect the people we serve?" His words echoed the walls of the precinct, leaving no doubt. A new era had begun. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that matter. And let's keep the conversation going.